The movie I'm going to talk about this week is from 1927, and it is called Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. It's directed by the great German director Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau. Now, I have a rule here for the list of movies I'm going to be talking about, that only one per director. And Murnau is one of the directors. Without this rule, I would have had several, probably including Nosferatu, Faust, and The Last Laugh. Murnau was a great exponent of German Expressionism, which was a movie movement, I suppose, which was killed off by the Nazis. But it involves the use of a deliberate distortion of sets, basically playing around with the physical universe through camera work as well to bring about a sense of heightened reality. Murnau was a giant of the film industry. He was a literal giant. He was 6 foot 11 inches tall. And he died in an automobile accident in 1931 at the age of 42, which was a tremendous blow to the nascent film industry. Murnau was a greatly influential director. I could name many directors, but one who saw him at source and was greatly influenced from the beginning of his career was Alfred Hitchcock. This movie, Sunrise, is a riposte to the argument that you often hear that Hollywood studio moguls are Philistines who have only been interested in money. Now, there are many such examples that I could give. The one of Orson Welles at RKO is another one. But in the late 1920s, William Fox, who headed the Fox Film Company, gave the keys of the studio, as they say, to Murnau. That no expense was to be spared, that the greatest stars would be hired. And he did get stars. George O'Brien plays the man, Janet Gaynor plays the wife, and Margaret Livingston plays the woman from the city. Sunrise was honored at the very first Academy Awards. Janet Gaynor was awarded Best Actress, Charles Rosher and Karl Struss for Best Cinematography, and the picture itself was awarded an Oscar for Best Unique and Artistic Production, which was an award which was given only for that first year. It was formerly considered co-equal to Outstanding Picture, which went that year to William Wellman's Wings. Now, this is a silent film, but it's not really a silent film. It's in between. It's not a talkie, but it does use the movie tone process, which allows a soundtrack and sound effects. And the music features Gounod's The Funeral March of a Marionette, perhaps influencing Hitchcock to use that as the theme for his television show decades later. Les Préludes, and most remarkably, Schoenberg's Transfigured Night, which is the apogee of musical romanticism. If you read about this movie, you will find a lot of people making excuses for it. You'll hear words like corny, cheesy, and Neolithic even, and the word sexist, which is a term of no efficacy. Some of these critics are simply PC. Others simply do not understand the conventions of melodrama, of silent film. What this movie is a paean to holy matrimony and a diatribe against feminism, urbanism, and modernism. People who express confusion as to the sexual morality of the film are obviously ignorant of the reigning sexual morality of the last 2,000 years. That is to say, Christianity. This movie has a simple plot. It can be summed up as boy loses girl, boy gets girl, boy loses girl again. But this is played out twice in parallel stories. This is a story of adultery and murder. Our hero, the man, is drawn into an affair with a woman from the city, a very modern woman, a flapper, a vamp. She dresses in black silk. She is very obviously the villain of the piece. He neglects his wife and his young son and his farm. But he is torn apart by the implications of the affair, by his immorality. And it's fascinating what Murnau does to the character played by George O'Brien, that it has been suggested that he is imitating a robot or even a golem. But to me, his gait and his posture suggests a man condemned to the scaffold, a man who is about to fall permanently into perdition. The woman from the city suggests that he murder his wife, that he get her into the middle of a lake on a boat and throw her off the side and pretend that it's an accident. And he initially rejects this idea violently, but then is drawn into it more and more, and Murnau shows us the torment that he suffers. He takes his wife onto the boat as if to fulfill the plan, and he moves menacingly towards her, but he can't bring himself to do it and rows back to the shore. She is terrified and runs for her life. He catches up with her, eventually onto a streetcar which goes into the city. And what is most affecting about her reaction to this, it is not outrage at what he has done, and it is not that she is most upset over the loss of her life. She is most upset over the loss of his love. He follows her throughout the city in a desperate attempt to be reconciled with her, plies her with gifts which she does not want to take. Eventually they see a wedding taking place, and they wander in and sit down at the pews, and the man is overwhelmed with contrition for what he has done. And this serves as a symbolic remarriage of the couple. And very charmingly, when they exit the church in their very rough country clothing, the people outside confuse them with the high-class people who are actually being married. He then goes to a barber shop where he is shaved, thus symbolically cleansed of his sins. And then they move to this strange place called Luna Park, which is restaurant, fun fair, dancing, everything imaginable. They have a wonderful time, and then the man suggests that as a romantic end to the evening, they come back home across the same body of water. And it's as if the god or the gods are punishing him for his hubris, and a terrible storm breaks out. They are both tossed from the boat, and the man believes that he has lost a wife and is desolated. The woman from the city reappears to claim the man, but she is rejected. And then the sun comes up, and the world is returned to the way it should be. This movie is characterized by its artistic unity. That if you watch the movie, you will notice that you see parallels and parallels and parallels, and the same thing happening with different results, the same things being shown, appearing again in different contexts. And it is remarkable technically. This is a movie of 1927, but it is a movie that, aside from the fact that it is silent and in black and white, its techniques are recognizable to people who watch current movies. Murnau's use of cross-cutting, juxtaposition, superimposition of images, extended tracking shots, which were almost unknown at the time, and even a proto-zoom. And this film includes what must surely be the first instance of the fabled Kubrick stare. But as a particular example of Murnau's technique, I would point to the way that he positions the man versus the two rivals. That George O'Brien was an athlete, a large, strong, tall man. But Murnau has positioned him that when he is close to the woman from the city, he is always in a subordinate position, that she is dominating him, even devouring him as a vampire would. And when he is with his wife, when he is attempting to supplicate his wife, he is again in a subordinate position such that she looms over him. And it is only after the symbolic remarriage, when he recommits himself to holy matrimony, that he stands tall, larger than his wife, the head of the household. Watching this movie is a masterclass in how to tell a story and in its use of archetypes. People who don't understand this movie are apparently removed from the idea of fables. You are not getting any character description, any, backstory, as they like to say. What you are getting is the power of fable, the power of myth, the power of archetypes. This is an extraordinary movie, and it has been recognized as such from the time it was released. In the most recent Sound and Sight poll, it finished fifth in the list of greatest movies of all times. Unlike the movie we were discussing last week, there's a happier situation with regard to its availability. After many years of it being difficult to find, you can now find it on Blu-ray, Dual, from Fox, 20th Century Fox. And currently it's on sale at Amazon for only $12.99. And as they say, hurry, hurry, while stocks last. In England, it's available from Masters of Cinema, which is like the British Criterion Collection. In a dual format, you get the Blu-ray and the DVD. And I will point out that this is an all regions Blu-ray and DVD, and it is available for only £10. It includes two versions of the film, the Hollywood version and a slightly different Czech version, which is of better film quality. And both versions, or at least the Masters of Cinema version, contains an excellent commentary by the cinematographer John Bailey.